What is up, beautiful people? In this video, we're going to learn how to make this basket weaving design. If this is something you're interested in, please do keep on watching and let's dive right into this video. For this basket design, we're going to be drafting on paper first, after which we're going to be cutting on the fabric and using the other things to create that look. So let me show you the fabric we're going to be using. We're using this beautiful print. Um, we're going to use about 1.5 to 2 yards of fabric for the skirt. Here is the paper stay you will need to create the structure at the bottom part of this design. So you can use color stay, paper stay, any stay that is thick and hard. Okay, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let us begin the drafting process. All right, so I have folded my paper into two because I want to do this on a full scale. This basket weaving design actually requires your pattern to be on the full scale. Now we're going to start drafting the front of this pattern. The top of the paper is the waistline. I'm going to measure 9 inches below, and then from the top edge of the paper again, I'm going to measure the knee line. I'm using 18 inches. Now we can start putting in the measurement. This pattern paper is about 40 inches long, which is just perfect for the length of the skirt. So we'll start putting in our measurement from the edge, from the top of the paper. We're going to put our waist measurement. Waist circumference is 36 inches. Divided by 4, we're having 9 inches. I'll mark 9 inches here. I'm going to put 1 inch for the dart and then 1 inch for the sewing allowance. On the hip line, I'm going to do quarter of the hip measurement. That's 11 1/4. And then I'll put 1 inch for the sewing allowance. I'm going to then measure what I have on the hip line. I'm having 12 1/4 inches. Go to this knee line and subtract 1 inch from 12 1/4. So you'll be having 11 1/4. This is because I want to make it pencil down. And then at the very bottom of the paper, I'm still going to use that 11 1/4. So I can connect the lines now. Okay. Very good. And now we can put in the dart at the top. So I'm going to measure the dart width. I'm using 4 inches for this particular hip size. So once I mark the 4 inch, I'm going to split that 1 inch dart intake on both sides. So I'll be having half inch on both sides. And then this dart will be 6 inches long, stopping here. I want to make sure that it's still 4 inch wide. Now I can connect the lines. Great. And then on this front waist, I'm going to drop the waistline by half an inch. This is very important because of um the space between the tummy, the waist, all of that, to just make it sit properly how it should. So this is the front. And now for the basket weaving design, I'm going to come on this knee line. I'm going to measure about 2 inches down. You can do 2 or 3 inches. If you want 3 inches, fine. I just want to create kind of like a curve. Okay, so anyone you're fine with. If you want to do this, it's going to be starting from here. So I'm not going to cut yet. I'm going to use the same pattern, draft my back first of all before we cut off. Now before we cut, I want us to put the and back together, matching up the lines. So the lines are matching. Now we can see where this line is. That's where the side here and here. So that is where the line is going to start on the back. That's where the weave is. And for the back, I'll just make it straight, not curved at the back. Let us cut the pattern out. Let me right back. So this is the weaving area up, and this is the hem side. Um, so it depends on you to open it up and cut it full, like full, or still cut and fold. Anyone will work fine. Hem up, weaving area. Okay, so let's begin planning, cutting and planning out the weave effect. All right, so we have cut up the patterns on fabric. This is the front. um I've even gone ahead to sew the dart and iron it up. That's the front with the lining, back with the lining. The bands have been cut. The band is 3 inches wide. That's including sewing allowance, half inch at the top, half inch at the bottom. So that means the band will be reduced to 2 inches when we're done. And then for the star of the show, this is what we're having. These are the strips that we're going to weave to form the basket design. So it's about 4 inches wide. Okay, and then iron everything with paper stay. I cut about 16 pieces of these strips, and the length of the strip is as long this as the paper that we used to cut it. Okay, so that was what I used to measure the strips. Now what we're going to do is take these strips and go to the sewing machine, fold it this way into two, and then sew it up. You want to sew just about 1/4 inch or ½ inch. And once you're done sewing, you turn it to the right side. So you need to enclose all the stitches, right? So let's go ahead to sew it up. At the same time, I'll also finish the bottom. So I'll sew like this and sew this way all the way. Okay, so that I can turn it to the right side, iron it to flatten it again, and then we'll start weaving the design. So let's go ahead to. All right, so after sewing, you must turn it this way, like turn it to um show the fabric itself, right? So all the stay and everything will be inside. Once you're done, you need to use your steam iron and iron this thing flat so that it's sharp. So we have the pattern pieces for the skirt. I just want us to arrange it, and this is the front part, right? So I'm going to align, just arrange the pieces, spacing it out evenly. For the back, right? So remember, this is the side back and this is the 2 inches wide zipper allowance. So what I'm going to do is cut through, open this paper here. Once we've opened it up, I label here up. So the up part, the zipper will be out of range this way. I'm going to align here to here, and this other one will be here. So you can see the mark here showing two. I'm just going to overlap that 1 inch sewing allowance because um there won't be any need to do that 1 inch sewing allowance here. We can also arrange the back pieces, making them evenly spaced out as well. So I'll align that last one to that 2 inches zipper fold line there. So this is how it's gonna be. Doing the same for this other side. So what we're going to do is actually, so like we're going to be doing this manipulation on the paper. We need to sew this to the paper on top like this so that it doesn't move. Once we've secured this up area, once it's secured, then we can start weaving the mat with the longer strips. So these ones are way longer, that would start and stop this way. So we can start weaving the mat. This is like basket weaving. That's what we want to do. All right, so let's start weaving the area. We can do one on top, the next one underneath. So okay, one is ready. What we can do now, hold them with pin, then you weave the second one, placing it how wide or far apart you want it to be. Now if the first one was on top, below, on top, beneath, on top, beneath, on top, then this one will reverse. So it's going to start from beneath, and then this one will now be on top. I hope you get the gist. Please make sure that the spaces or the boxes you have is even. Then on top, on top. So it just reverses that way. And then you just keep using your machine to hold it in place. I want to arrange this thing properly, then go and secure these two first of all before we move on. Alright guys, so we're trying to finish off that end. Once you're done with all this weaving, you want to make sure that the end is neatly tucked away, especially all this part. So for this one that goes on top, we tuck it in this way, and the one that is underneath, you can just fold it in this way. Okay, that's how we'll just neaten up the hem area. While pinning, make sure you check the boxes to see that they are even while doing all of this. Alright guys, so once you're through tucking everything away, just carry your paper that way. You see everything has been pinned. You shouldn't scatter. Just carry your paper to the sewing machine and start securing the stitch. You can either secure it by just doing one running stitch across, or just doing small tacks, small tacks, small tacks right in the middle of each box. I think I'll just go with the running stitch across instead of doing small tacks on each box, because that's going to be very, very time consuming. Once you're done with all of that, we'll just get our skirt and put this weaving design to the bottom part of the skirt, and we are through with the project. All right, so this is a new day, guys. We have finished weaving the basket and also sewing the stitches. Let me show you how the back looks like. So you can see the sewing stitch lines just to secure the weaving. So you're not going to remove the paper yet. Here we have the skirt um, part. So we're going to be sewing this weaving to the skirt. Okay, you just have to pin it in place so that it stays put, and then you join this weave to the skirt. Let's do that already. Placing this here with this and pinning it. Once we're done with sewing the whole skirt, we'll just tear off the paper, but you still need the paper there um to give you a proper, like, to see that you're doing it right. Okay, so once we sew this together, we'll have one piece. We'll be able to tear off the paper. So let me just sew this round, and we'll come and tear the paper off. Alright guys, so this is how the inside of the skirt looks like. You need to make sure that everything is enclosed and looks really pretty. So all we'll do now for this paper is just to peel off. You just have to tear it off. It will take a while, but just take your time and do it. Can get real messy guys, so let me just peel off all the paper and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, guys, so we are through with this project. I totally am in love with the final look of this outfit. It's giving everything it's supposed to give. And if it's giving you as well, please do not forget to give me a huge thumbs up as well as subscribe if you haven't done so already. Till we see you in our next tutorial, stay safe. God bless you all. Bye.